He's a strategic powerhouse in commercial leadership. He's scaled global sales teams across fintech and SaaS, restructured go-to-market strategies, and led multi-million-dollar deals from London to Wall Street to sunny Australia, where he now lives. He's transformed Deutsche Bank's payments business to guiding early-stage startups from Series A. This guest knows how to drive sales results at any stages of growth, and he's written a very interesting book. Welcome to Leadership That Sells. This is the podcast that helps you lead first and sell more. Great sales teams need great sales leaders, but more often than not, the sellers become managers without any sort of training or support. And that is why we built the Leadership That Sells playbook. And we try to share just what leaders need and no more. And that's 2 30-minute live expert-led sessions a week over 9 weeks with some coaching clinics chucked in the top. Check it out at the Practical Leadership Academy. Andy Reid, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you for having me, man. Really, really appreciate it.
So you are somewhere sunny and warm right now?
Well, it's dark and pretty cold at the minute, actually. It's completely going against the grain of Australia, right? But yes, we're on a different time zone, so it's pitch black right now here in Melbourne. But I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I was born and raised in Derby, but moved over here in 2010. And yeah, man, it's been a fun old ride down here.
So you've led some seriously large organizations. I mean, Deutsche Bank, you took a heck of a journey there. And then you've also done the startup bit too. So do you have a one go-to blueprint or one set of 5 things that you do that takes a sales org from where you find them to where they need to be?
I think that the really important thing is understanding the identity of who you, well, not just the organization, but who you are as a leader as well. It's really, really important that identity is one of those things that a lot of people tend to get off a cereal box. The standard words that you find in the basket, the integrities, the transparencies, and all that sort of stuff.
Passion.
Right? Exactly. Commitment and whatnot. When the reality is, if you were to put them in a usual suspects sort of lineup along with another set of other sets of values, and you ask people that know you to try and pick you out or to pick the organization, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There was no way they could do it. So it's one thing, right? When you go through different landscapes and you go through different versions of yourself and versions of how you rock and roll in business and in life, it's so true that the closer you get to who you are, the higher the vibration you tend to operate on, and the easier it is for people to follow you into battle, whilst at the same time being able to roll your sleeves up and not get too up yourself, right? And making sure that you are prepared to get your hands dirty still, because at the end, humans will follow other humans that are prepared to get in the trenches. So that's one thing that I've always been super keen on is never being afraid to getting in the trenches and making sure that my people see that as well.
So you wrote a book about, well, basically it's about success, sales, leadership. Success is for the curious, available at all good bookstores, and there'll be a link in the description right now. If you look across the work that you've done, the startup stuff and the big old hairy company stuff, what's the one thing, the leadership trait that makes the biggest difference regardless of the stage of the company?
That they are the best leaders are the ones that are comfortable with their own vulnerabilities, in my humble opinion. And what I mean by that is that it's easy to trumpet about what you're good at, but for me, the leaders that are the most comfortable owning what they are good at and accepting what they are not good at are the ones that are the most effective leaders, because of the fact that there's no airs or graces. It is unequivocal where their skill sets lie within themselves and for those around them, and they are able to, via accepting their own vulnerabilities, they are able to show a level of reality that is undeniable. So it means that the level of commitment that they get off their people as a result of that is it's on another level
Mm.
to those that just try and paper over the cracks that is in existence within their DNA, within their makeup, right? And we've all got cracks. I don't care who you are. We've all got bits we're missing, right? And those that can that have done the work to identify their vulnerabilities and to remain students of themselves, let alone anything else, they end up having people that will run through brick walls for them.
Student of themselves. I like that word. Well, that's a good phrase. I mean, I like the idea that if you want to actually understand other people, the first thing you have to do is look in the mirror. And
Oh,
all the information you have to learn is right there. You can
oh
click.
man. At the minute, I'm going through a bit of a phase where I've got myself a wearable. I've got a Whoop thing
Right.
going on, and beforehand, when I had a wearable device, I used to just think all this is doing is showing me numbers that are proving to me that I'm shit at sleeping. Right,
Mm.
right. It's all it's doing is just showing highlighting my inadequacies, which isn't helping me out that much. Right, and then I met a doctor who specializes in the analysis of all this wearable information. And the penny dropped, and I'm like, shit, that's the next part of me learning about myself. This is the next part that I need to become a student of. Are the analytics, the numbers, which in essence are easier to understand when you've got something tangible. You've got numbers that are tangible, right? And you
Mhm.
can see trends and you can spot trends and you can spot, and it's easier to map out success parameters off the back of those trends, right? So that's my latest version. My latest sort of study is the studying of the analytics of Andy, and it's frightening but exciting at the same time because I'm doing all right. And geez, if I can up my numbers on some of this Whoop stuff, then who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Well, I think, like anything really, if you're looking at all the stuff that you're crap at, I've got a pal, James, and he's a great mountain biker. So he falls off mountains on a bike, right? I look at this and he sends me some of the GoPro stuff, and it just does my head in. Like, you're going to die. No, he's not, and he never does. And he says the trick is not to look at where you're going. I said, what? He said, no, don't look where you're going. You look past where you're going. Because if you look at the thing in front of you, you'll hit it. See that tree down there? Don't look at it. Look at the bit behind it. Okay, look at where you're going. So if you focus on the thing you're actually aiming for, you're going to hit. You're actually going to crash into it, not go past it. And it's from that. It's doing better. It's focusing on the things you're good at and building on those things rather than focusing on the failures. So you focus on
Oh,
the wee things that you're not good at, that's where you'll end up. You'll crash into the things you're not good at. Oh, I've only
mm,
slept 4 hours last night. And guess what? Tonight you'll only sleep 4 hours. But you woke up refreshed. I woke up refreshed. That's the outcome of the sleep. So you're going to think past it. It's like this is why I love sales. Sales is just a microcosm or a macrocosm of life itself, right? Think
hmm.
past the sale and all that. You think past it. You look at the good stuff and you build on the good stuff. Fix the toxic, but you build on the good stuff. So
Yeah.
if you're a student of yourself and you recognize, as you said, the the weaknesses or the authentic problems that you have, if you're a leader and you don't know what that is, how do you hire people? Because
Exactly.
I'm in the middle of hiring a leadership team, and I need people around me who are good at X, Y, and Z. Why? Because I am shit at X, Y, and Z. There
Hmm.
you go. Right? I've got a fabulous finance team. I'm financially literate, but you hire fabulous finance people because that's what I need. I need
Hmm.
an operator. I need these things because I know that I can do it, but it in my wheelhouse.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And the world's moving way too fast for us to just do things because we can. We need to be able to to really, as best as possible, narrow our focus to the things that we really excel at, right? That we really, really excel at. So for me, in the world that I'm in now, I've never been great at paperwork. I am riddled with ADHD, right? I am absolutely riddled with it. So patience, around things like that is just, and I know, and it's crazy to think, some of the stuff that I've been up to and that, and I've been fighting all this stuff, right? But now I've come to accept it for what it is. I'm like, right. anything that requires any real attention to detail, like real serious attention to detail, I know. I know for a fact that I need someone around me there is a crosser of T's and a dotter of I's. So then it allows me the freedom to really flex what I know I'm good at, which is, being in front of people and speaking my truth and all that sort of stuff, right? And really sort of being the guy that blows the bugle and sends everyone into battle, right? And shouts charge. So yeah, and it just makes and it makes you happier. Makes you happier. And if you're happier, happiness is a bloody success drug that wins you so many more battles.
You and the people around you. I mean, because
Oh,
if you do this for yourself, then the next stage is then you do it for other people. And if you
yeah.
turn to somebody and say, Andy, you're a bit shit at this, let's get better at it, you're going to think, okay, thanks. No, no, really, I really appreciate it, whatever. But if you pick it up and say, Andy, you're really good at this, let's get you amazing. Because
Hmm.
if you have somebody who's not shit at a particular task, well, good for you. That's nice. If you have somebody who is the top 1% of something at something, that's a game changer. That's a lever to pull on. That's amazing.
Hmm.
If you can help people get there, they will want to go with you on the journey. They'll walk through walls because you've identified the thing that boils their kettle, butters their parsnips, makes them happy, and you're helping them on a journey to get even better at it. Hello.
Oh, hey, and when we're trying to create sales teams and organizations where those salespeople want to stay, as opposed to have to stay,
Yeah.
the individualization of your leadership towards each individual, especially in sales, because there's two sides to it, right? There's relatability and credibility. The credibility piece is the black and white stuff, but it's only half the equation, and
Mhm.
that's where the relatability piece can only be grown and nurtured and developed through the ability to be able to tune into the individual and find that the 1%, find their secret sauce that really helps them to fire. All right. And then if you find that and amplify that, then one, they will feel so much more empowered, but two, they'll feel like you get them. And there's so much to be said for getting the people that you're working with and that you're wanting to work with you. So yeah, man, I completely concur. It's really really interesting if you can vibe on a level that really, as you say, I've not heard that butters parsnips phrase for a long long time down here in Australia, but it's awesome, and I'm going to start using it a lot more.
You totally
Um,
are.
um, I'm going to try and bleed it into Australian culture down here. You're absolutely right, man.
So you've got, I mean, you wrote about a lot of this. I mean, you've got a great book come out in January there, Success
Mhm.
Curious, right?
Mhm.
Success is for the curious. Success Curious. How to define and achieve high performance. How do you define high performance?
It's interesting, right? Success is pure. It's a purely unique concept to each individual, right? And that's an obvious statement, right? Success is a totally individual thing. The thing that I've realized having done big and small, is the fact that it's not. It's weird, right? Because I've had to go through. It's annoying how humans have to go through shit in order to really learn something, right? I know it's rubbish that our brains are negatively wired, and we only really learn stuff from things that go bad. And it was a real mental health challenge for me that really helped me to understand the concept of what success even meant for me in the first place, right? Because you do what you think it is, or you do what is being prescribed to you by
Mm.
those that you have followed as a kid or whatever. But the reality is, until you can define what success is for yourself, you never truly know if you're on the right track in any way, shape, or form. Or you'll always have this issue of never feeling satisfied, of never having enough,
Mhm.
which in sales is a pig of a thing, because then you end up becoming a slave to your existence, which
Yeah.
is never nice, right? So for me, like, a successful human is a human in flow. That's the simple definition, right? And what that basically means is that when you feel like things are just happening. And, and people will say to, geez, you're doing so well. How are you doing? No, no, well, it just feels easy, right? When you feel that, when you start to talk in that sort of vernacular, you know that you're on a success trajectory because of the fact that you've found where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
which is really, really interesting, right? And this whole flow state concept, which I know that the likes of James Clear talks about tremendously well, and Charles Duhigg before that, Power of Habit, and all this sort of stuff. And they talk about it incredibly well, way more eloquently than me. But I just know, and people just know. It's a part of human DNA to just know when you when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're going in the direction you're supposed to be going in,
Yeah.
because you don't mind making mistakes, right? It's that concept of if you trust your gut, you'll only have lessons. If you trust your head, you'll always have regret,
Mhm.
right? I'm a firm believer of that. I am now. I wasn't at the time, but I am now.
Is to listen to the small, still voice of calm inside you somewhere. You call it your soul, whatever you want.
Yeah.
The small, still voice of calm that says, "That way, go that way. That's a good idea. Go over there."
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
your head that says, "Here are 15. There are good reasons for it." And hang on, what's what? That way.
Totally, man.
Okay, I'm going there.
Totally.
I'm going there. It was Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi was the guy's name. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi was the Hungarian psychologist who came up with the concept of flow. He's a don't ask me to spell Csikszentmihalyi, but it's
Oh,
a
nah,
good word.
nah, nah.
So
I had to check it like 17 times before I really stuck it in the book, to be fair. Like, a lot of times.
yeah,
And even then I think I might have got it wrong. But anyway.
yeah, yeah, it was marvelous. I mean, I spent a wonderful couple of days with a guy who had worked with him for some time, and he told some fabulous stories. But it was mostly about how do you recognize when you're in flow? And the problem is you can't do it in the moment. You can't recognize when you're in it in the moment. You can recognize it with hindsight. You can recognize it as, oh, it's that, oh, I'm 3 hours in, it's like a minute, it's gone by.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden just time just goes
Yeah,
boom like that, and you then all of a sudden you wake. It's almost like you wake back up
yeah.
to your existence again. It's a strange thing, but when you find it, man, it's
Success is
better than
people
any
who,
drug.
success is people who are in flow. I think human in flow is successful. Okay, curiosity. I
Mm,
like to say that when I hire people, I hire them for curiosity and courage. They're
mhm,
curious because they're interested in other people. You know,
mm,
they want to find out more about you. And my wife has a superpower that she not only finds out more about you than you actually thought about yourself, but then she goes off and remembers it. You know, so 3 years later,
that's
she'll come up.
dangerous, man. That is dangerous, Paul.
She comes up, Andy. She comes up to you and she'll say, "Andy, so did your dog get better? Because you've mentioned that I haven't seen you since 1986." Yeah, but
Man, that is
you know,
epic.
whatever it is, it's incredible. It's incredible. I hope
That
she
is
teaches the kids.
epic.
But so you've got this curiosity, but then it's the courage to ask the questions to find out stuff. You know,
Hmm.
in a sales context, that's you're talking to a senior executive and you ask them, "What are you going to get paid your bonus on this year?"
Hmm.
Oh, that's a bit personal. But if they answer it, one is you've all of a sudden you've got fabulous kudos from them for actually having the guts to ask the question. And two, if they answer it, oh hello, you now know what their boss thinks is important. Right?
Mm.
That's the sort of stuff. So it's the
I agree.
curiosity and the courage to find out. How do
Totally, man.
you test for curiosity?
The test for curiosity, it's a really interesting one because when you're in sales meetings and whatnot, one general rule of thumb that I've been educating people on is the more that you can get them to talk, the closer you are to winning the deal, right? So if I'm in an interview, for example, and I'm talking, and we're talking to someone, I'm trying to get them to say stuff, and then they start, and then somehow they'll ask you something that starts you talking a bit more. It's one of those things that all of a sudden, like you'll be half a minute in, you're like, hold on, the prick's got me bloody talking about me,
That's it.
right? And then you're like, oh, there you go, ding 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 ding, and it's so true, right? The more that you can get a consumer or the subject of your sale, the target for your sale, or whatever it is, the more that you can get them to talk, the closer you are to getting it together, right? The closer you are, because if they've started talking freely, it means that you've managed to resonate in some way, shape, or form that is heightened, that from a curiosity point, that is heightened their want to open up to you.
Totally.
Um, so I love that. I just whenever I do an interview, I actually say to some people if they've ended up getting me talking about myself, I'll say to them, okay, right, we've got someone here, and I'll tell them, I said, I reckon we might have someone here. What do you think? And then you get to test their confidence and their courage to say, you know what, yeah, you have. So when you talk about the courage piece, oddly, I didn't realize it was a test of courage for them to say, yeah, I am the right person, but
Mm.
that's exactly what it is. Now
Yeah.
you've said it.
So, what are you working on just now? You've got the book out. The book came out a couple of months
Yep.
ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I'm working on a couple of things. I'm working on a subscription model, which down here I've been focused heavily on the real estate space down here. So I'm working on a subscription model that will be designed towards helping the real estate industry, so the realtor industry, the property industry. Um, to be able to lean into the curiosity that generates a greater degree of success through credibility, relatability, and whatnot. And then I'm being thrust upon a whole bunch of stages. I don't know whether it's because I've got a dodgy accent and a big mouth or whatever it is, my man. But I tend to be thrust into the light to go and have a yarn to a few people at scale. So I'm seeing a lot of the insides of planes because Australia's a much bigger place than you realise. Until
Mm.
when you get here and you go, shit, I can't just go to Sydney for a beer because it's about 8 hours drive away. I see a lot of the insides of planes. So thank goodness for on-plane Wi-Fi. Let's put it
Okay.
that way. Yeah, so doing a lot of travel at the minute, which is no bad thing. It's nice to feel wanted.
That's it. If we had to put up 1,000 billboards, 10,000 billboards, with one message from Andy on it, what would that one message be? Everyone would see it.
It'd be the message, one of the only messages that my old man left me, which is if you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't laugh at anyone else. And it's a lesson in humility. It's a lesson in not taking life too seriously because there's way too much serious stuff that goes on in the first place without you contributing towards it. Um, my old man was a man of few words. And when he was serious, people took him seriously, but it didn't happen that often because he was too busy just making people laugh. And so that is one thing that he didn't leave that much wisdom. He was a Geordie, so he didn't impart that much wisdom. But that was one thing that I would most certainly want the world to see.
Marvelous. It's the quiet men that can make the difference. And
Big time.
where can we find you if we need you? We've got your website. We'll put all these links into the description
Yeah,
box.
man. Like simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. I like to kid myself into thinking. So andyreid.com.au, very easy. Or you can find me at Andy Reid Coaching on Instagram, all the platforms really. I'm a relatively easy guy to find, and I keep my DM open on purpose. So if anybody wants to reach out, they're more than welcome to.
Marvelous. Andy Reid, doyen of sales, curiosity, and leadership. Thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Man, thank you so much for having me, Paul. Take care, man.